Call the meeting to order at 6:22. And is there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none. Members of the public? Kate, I think we have you here for a specific reason.
Yes, you do.
Okay, so do you have anything for the public?
Nope, no items for the public.
Okay, and then Lauren, anything from Lauren?
No, I'm fine.
How about you, Rich?
Nope, I'm in the background.
Okay, cool. Review and approve the minutes of the March 16th, 2020 minutes. So those should have been delivered in the package. Is there anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of whatever it was you just said.
March 16th, 2020, Peter? Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Laura seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor give a thumbs up, or do we have to say, oh, we have to roll call, right, Bill? Okay, so Laura,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Rick? Okay, I heard an aye, so it's unanimous, that part carries. I have nothing for correspondence. Was there any correspondence, Bill? No. Wow, moving right along to old business, equity, calendar for discussion. Laura, that was kind of your thing. Tell us exactly how you want us to deal with that and how you want us to move that forward, or if you want to take a break and talk about it next meeting.
I think that what that agenda item was striving for, it was equity, but it was equity for all of our students, making sure that we had a definition of equity for all of our students in both that, met with both buildings. I believe. I will stand to be corrected, but if I'm racking my head, that is what I believe that was. How do we say that we're providing equity? And I think that we may have to put that on hold right now, since all of our students are virtual. I don't even know if that's, so how do I want to, I am not prepared to deal with that tonight, Mr. Chair. How's that?
No, we weren't, and I don't think we were going to deal with it tonight. I think the idea was you had originally, the state has a definition of equity, and we were thinking we wanted to have a River Valley's equity. So we still want to do that, or are we okay? Or
I would like us to do that eventually. I don't know that that is in the top 5 priorities that we have right now.
so then
I'm a little more worried about the state equity issue than, making, I think we're probably pretty close here. I think we're fine tuning here as opposed to, dealing with some kind of grave inequities statewide, which may get
so why don't we just put that off? And Bill, in the future, let's just note that we want to have a discussion on an equity definition for river valleys. Is that okay with everybody? Thumbs up. Cool. Okay. Website design, and this is something, Mark, you were big with before. Do you want to speak to that a little bit?
No, I too am not prepared to speak on that tonight.
Okay, so do we want to make that a subcommittee? Is that a big enough project that maybe a couple people should work together on that to move that, especially showing my great ability with technology tonight?
So you'll be the chair, right?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's something that I'm not going to speak up. If somebody else has some ideas.
So I have zero time, as you know, unlike all of you who I know are just swimming in time. But I am interested. So I would not be interested in chairing or being, but I would be interested in, I'm assuming Mark would be interested going forward. But again, I don't know that this is in the top 5 for right now either. Well, though maybe it is. I don't know with where we're at.
I've started working on a temporary template that we can have to kind of unify all of our websites. I just haven't had as much time to work on it this past month as I thought I would. And it would be a temporary solution, not a permanent one.
I know last time we brought this up and we went a little ways. I know Rick and I had a little bit of sticker shock. I believe, I think we were thinking a few $1,000s, and I think Rick, I don't know if you remember, didn't he come up like 25 or 30 all of a sudden? Mark,
Rick, you have to unmute yourself.
Rick, unmute yourself.
How's that?
Much better.
Okay. No, I think it was significantly more than we thought, and probably something we need to budget for in the future. A total overhaul of the site. I think we need to figure out what we want from it, though.
So a committee of a central office, our administration, a couple board members, and a couple staff members would probably be the best way to move that forward.
I'd like to have Anita on that committee.
Well, she could be a public, and then Bill, what do you think of that? Bill and Matt and Tammy, is that? Matt likes it. Tammy likes it. Bill, you good? Okay, so why don't we set up the next meeting, Mark? If you can just give us a brief under this website design, give us what you think you may be looking for money, and maybe like an outline of what you want to do, and we'll make it a formal committee.
Okay.
And give you like the summer, because I would think then, that would play into budgeting next fall.
Makes sense.
Everybody, thumbs up. Lori, good? Yep. Okay, thank you, guys. Next thing is the complaint policy with corrections. Mark, I think, had a couple corrections. Wasn't there a misspelling or something?
Yeah, complainant. Looks like it was changed from complaint to complainant. So this looks like it's correct.
And this has been approved, so we're all good with this. Public complaints, correct? No, there was discussion on B22. No, we approved
Right.
this.
This was warned.
Okay, so we have to approve it.
Correct.
Okay, here we go, Matt and Tammy. Was this posted in your building somewhere for everybody that comes in to see? How do we get around that, Bill?
Post in the buildings, and we put it on the website as a policy, that is warned. We do it at central office, but we can't not do those things.
So we need to sit and wait on this until the schools are open again?
No, they just have to be posted. You guys can wait, it's your call. I mean, the rules are different right now. I mean, we're following the same path as we normally would.
Tammy?
Yeah, I mean, it's posted, it's just no one can view it because the building's closed.
So is the board good to vote on this? Let me make a motion in a second that we approve it.
I'll make a motion that we approve B22A.
Second,
I'll second.
Rick seconds it. All those in favor say aye.
I
Aye.
Mark,
Oh, we have to do a roll call, Rich.
oh, roll call. Laura,
Yes, aye.
Mark,
yes, I.
Rick.
Aye.
Okay, wow, we're getting this really good now. So, Matt, I'm not gonna, and Tammy, you guys gonna have to initial and write it that we voted on it, okay? Next thing on the agenda is, there's a bunch of papers we were given about principal advisory committees. And remember, this came up as a point of discussion. Andy McLean brought it up at one of the meetings to discuss the budget. This had been put into our articles of agreement when we had 3 different schools, and we thought it may be more necessary. So I guess the first question is, do we think it's necessary? And the second question is, do we want to follow the example that Bill's set up in the West River group? Laura,
Yes.
guess what?
Did I say something?
Well, no, I asked you. So what do we want to do with the principal advisory committee?
With the principal advisory committee. Principal advisory committee.
Or should we skip over this and come back to it in another meeting?
Let's come back to it at another meeting, I think. The
Mark?
principal advisory committee, this is for hiring.
No, the
Teachers.
principal advisory committee was part of the group that Andy McLean brought it up at the meetings to discuss at when we did the budget meetings about a time where people could make suggestions to the budget.
Oh,
And it was in our articles of agreement when there was 3 schools that were going to come together. So there is some form of this at the West River group, but that was 5 different schools in the high school, and we're
so
just
do our administrators have a way that they would like to have that happen? If they don't, then I am happy for us to take this up at the next meeting. But I would want to, I think I would want to hear if there was a way that would be most helpful.
okay. Mark,
I personally think we're small enough that we don't need this. I think we just have to warn the meetings, and I think now that we're holding them online, gives people even greater access to participate.
Rick,
I'm gonna be with Mark on this one. I don't think we're big enough to warrant it. There's not enough. I don't think there's enough people out there that are interested in serving on something like this, but I could be wrong.
Probably only if we say no, we're not doing it.
that's
Then
true.
there'll be plenty.
Bill, I'm sorry, Bill, you wanted to say something?
I just emailed all of you, and Lauren, I emailed you as well, just the language from Article 17 of the Articles of Agreement, kind of the forefront of how this was brought up. I think the origin is really important to understand that this came up when you were talking with 3 different districts across 3 geographical regions. So even then, you were very prescient to say may want to do that. I tend to agree with both Mark and Rick that you guys have set up a system now so that you have transparency and you have the ability to participate. So I think it would be a redundant layer that would be unnecessary at this time.
Matt or Tammy, any comments?
Richard, Dwight's here too.
I'm sorry, what?
Dwight is here also.
Oh, I see him in the bottom corner.
I do have a comment, Rich. The only thing I would like to say is I would rather put energy in and time in seeing how we can work together to do more events between Wardsboro and Dover versus putting time into a PAC.
Matt?
I agree with both Tammy and Bill and everybody that's talked about it. I think size-wise, we're small enough that we can reach out to families. I think families feel really comfortable coming to either school, talking to the principal if they have a problem. And if they disagree, they have the ability to go to the board. I think I don't think it's a huge need right now. I don't see that yet.
Okay, Dwight, do you have any comments? We're on the advisory committee, halfway down in old business. Mark, can you unmute Dwight? Or is Dwight really there?
See a circle with a D on it.
Well, no, I know, but
He's muted on his end.
okay. Dwight, are you there? Can you say something? Unmute yourself?
Or use a chat box, Dwight.
There I am. Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Hey, can you hear where we were? Dwight?
I think I'm having technical difficulties, everyone. You're coming in garbled, sorry.
Okay. So we were talking to the advisory committee. Do you have any comments?
No.
Okay. So I think then for now, I agree with Tammy, and that's something that we've been asking for a while, is put more energy into doing more between the Dover and the Wardsboro building. So why don't we work our energies into that, and let's put that on the calendar. And Tammy and Matt and Bill, you just need to tell us how the board can help you with that. And why don't you guys include that in your principals report, next principals report, what you need from the board. Is that okay with everybody on the board? Bill and Matt and Tammy are shaking their heads. Rick is good. Bill's good. Mark, you and Laura? Dwight? Are you good with that, Dwight?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Rich?
Yeah.
Dwight, if you're having trouble with your audio, try calling in on the phone number.
Okay, it's a good idea.
Okay. So the work plan was something that we've asked Bill to kind of put a calendar together. And I know he sent us a calendar. And I believe I printed it, and I can't seem to find it.
It's on your screen, Rich.
Okay. So did people get a chance to look at the calendar? Is
Are
there?
there any changes to this from last month when we spoke about this, Bill?
I can't remember. I don't think I made anything major. I just made sure that transportation and budget development were part of the goals. After your discussion about, parental advisory councils. I think I would get rid of district advisory council and possibly add, intra-school collaboration or something like that.
Everybody good with that, Laura? Mark, you good? I can't see Rick anymore.
Works for me.
You good, Rick?
I'm good.
Dwight, you back? Okay, well, let's move on then. Board member appointment. Dun, dun, dun. Tammy, where are you? You're right there. Okay. So Tammy, how did you? I know we put some advertising out. You had how many hundreds and thousands of people knocking the door down?
You mean how many people's doors am I knocking down?
Either way.
So we did have one person of interest, and she has called in. So I'd like to introduce everybody to Kate Rideout.
Now, Kate
Hello.
came to the school board meeting in Wardsboro right after the town meeting, correct?
Correct. Yeah, in early March, I showed up.
Okay. So one of the things we're required to do as a board is the legislation changed or the rules changed a little bit when we went to Dwight, is that you as caller too? No. Is Dwight on, Mark?
I'm here. Whoa.
Okay, so Dwight, we're on the board member appointment. We have Kate Rideout from Wardsboro who's interested. Tammy beat her door down and dragged her to this meeting today for us. So one of the things we have to do is we have to consult with the select board in town. So last Tuesday, I was on a conference call with the select board and told them what we were doing and that we had at least one applicant. We may have more. It wasn't, closed until Monday when we met. Tammy said the only one she's had, Bill and Matt, you didn't have anybody from Wardsboro contact you guys. So we've got Kate here. Kate did come to the meeting after town meeting and express some interest. I believe, Kate, you said you won't run again because your appointment would only be to the next regular or special town meeting in Wardsboro.
So, yeah, so the appointment would be till the next town meeting, and then it would be an elected position after that point in time.
Yeah, and you would get the remainder of that term. You could run for an open term if you wanted to. And I think there's going to be some discussion, Rick and Dwight, and then you would be involved in that. We want to do the election in Wardsboro different. We went to the town meeting because that's what Wardsboro was used to, but you also had done it the night before school board meeting, before town meeting, the school district meeting. So does anybody on the board have any questions for Kate to ask? Anybody, Tammy or Matt or Bill?
Matt has a question.
Go ahead, Matt.
Do you want to type it, Matt? Would that be easier? And I can read it and answer it? Okay.
Well,
Yeah, you're muted on your end, Matt.
Now you're unmuted, Matt.
Sorry.
There you
Go
go.
ahead. Talk, Matt.
It looks like it just reacted. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, it's that old machine. Kate, I just wanted to say welcome and thank you for stepping forward, and would love to hear a little bit about you and why you were interested in the board. I don't know if that's appropriate or not, Rich, but since Kate and I have never met, I'd love to just hear a little bit.
Kate, tell us what you're interested in.
Okay, so I'm interested in the Wardsboro School Board, well, the River Valleys Unified School District, I believe is the appropriate name at this point, because I do have 2 young children in the community. I have my 5, almost 6-year-old Amelia, who's in kindergarten, and my 3-year-old Xander, who's just a couple of years away from entering school in our district. So that's why I want to just be a voice and, you know, learn more about the education system that we have available to us and see what I can do to help. And for those of you who are on earlier, you would have seen them because they all enter the room while I'm on meetings, and yeah, it's been fun.
I noticed you have a trap set up for them. If they open the door, the lamp falls over.
No, it's not rigged appropriately. I thought about that, but yeah. And I also have a furry family member as well who tries to come in during meetings too. So Ajax is also, they all do much better if I just let them in, sit with me for a minute, and then they go about the day. So that's how we've learned to deal with remote meetings and working full time from home in the time of a pandemic.
Dwight, are you set? Do you have any questions?
No, I'm here, and I'm really happy to see Kate that she's come forward. I know she's come to a lot of meetings. I've seen her knitting in the back, listening to what we were talking about. So you won't be able to knit anymore, but now you'll be on the other side of the table.
We can knit.
She can still knit. What's her name from Wyndham used to knit all the time in meetings.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad it's still appropriate.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was Madame Defarge.
Lauren, do you have any questions?
Oh.
Lauren, the paper.
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
And I see Katie joined us, Your Honor. Do you have any questions, or just saying hi and seeing what's going on?
Just saying hi, seeing how everyone's doing.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Laura. I know you guys are really busy. Thanks for doing all that you're doing.
Hey, Carrie, congratulations on your confirmation today.
Thank you. Yes, that's good to know. I have a job.
Okay, well, let's see if we can give Kate a job. So with any, so what we would do is we would make an appointment. She wouldn't be able to do her position tonight because we have to get her sworn in and she has to sign some paperwork, like everybody does when they get elected. But we can make a motion, or we can wait till executive session if anybody has anything they want to discuss. Or we can just do whatever the board wishes.
I make a motion that we appoint Kate Rideout. Is that how you pronounce your name? To the open seat on the board from Wardsboro.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Dwight got it in before Rick shook his head. I'll vote. Let's start with Dwight.
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Laura,
Hi.
Mark.
Aye.
Okay, congratulations, Kate. You're now the
Thanks,
new.
Kate.
Hey, Lori,
Welcome.
how are you?
Hi, Kate. Congratulations. I would need to get your email. You'll have to do some paperwork also for the central office in order to get board stipend. So I just want to put that out there. Maybe Tammy could forward your personal email to me.
Yes,
Okay?
that would be great.
Thanks.
You know, this is like the what was it, the Hollywood squares, you know, like I feel like we should be putting X's and circles over people. Or the Brady Bunch. Kate, congratulations. Thank you very much. So our next thing is auditor appointment, discussion, and possible action. So Bill did find out for us through the state that we do need to appoint 3 auditors. I was able to talk to one of them. this pastor from the Eastover Church who's willing to serve. As difficult as it was last time, he'll be okay. If it's twice as more difficult, it won't be that good because he said they had no meetings, they didn't do anything, and he's not sure why he's even there, but he's willing to serve again. The other two was the former teacher from Brattleboro up in Dover Hills and Randy Capitani. I did not get a chance to call them today. So does the board want to wait and do that at the next meeting? We'll have those three people, see if they're interested. If they are, we'll just appoint them. Yeah, cool. So does anybody else have anything other old business? If not, new business, we got the principal's report. We were submitted a written principal's report. Anybody have any comments or questions? Go ahead, Mark.
I was just wondering if Matt and Tammy could give us a little bit more detail on what's been going on the past month and how things are going.
Tammy, why don't you start, if you don't mind?
Sure. Really, we've been rolling out our continuation of learning plan, which we worked as administrators to develop. So the principals, as well as our director of curriculum, all worked really hard on that and getting it worked out. In addition to that, really, I've been supporting families, supporting teachers. I would say that, the teachers have made an incredible effort providing remote learning to students, as well as, supporting those families as far as, making sure that they have everything they need as far as internet access. We've, provided opportunities to meet via video conference, as well as individual phone calls to families of any children with, whom we haven't connected. Teachers, have really made the transition to distance learning well. And I really feel like overall, it's been a smooth transition. I would say more recently, we finally have gotten to sort of catch our breath, and we're feeling a little bit more comfortable in the new learning environment. And as many of you know, this week is actually April break, so families and students are taking a little break this week. And really, that's my update.
Thank you. Matt?
Yeah, I think I was able to get my mute off. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It took almost
We can hear you.
the entire time of Tammy's report, but that's the price I pay for video. I'd like to echo Tammy's report. It's been the same, pretty much the same in Dover as Wardsboro. And if we're listing things that we've collaborated on, I'd like to really tip my hat to Tammy, because we've collaborated, I think, at every step during this transition to distance learning. We've worked together on publicity for our parents. We've worked together on PD for the staff, and it's just really been a delight to have a partnership in Wardsboro, and certainly have another professional to bounce ideas off of and to work collaboratively with. So I'm very thankful for that. I think, like Tammy mentioned, the Dover staff, they started out of the gate, like a racehorse. And after the first lap, everybody was pretty tired. But I feel like they're settling into a groove now, and we continue to support families that are having trouble accessing, or I'm trying to provide technical support over the phone via video, and having people come in and talk through the glass at school. It's working pretty well. There's still a few families that are struggling to access, but that has really been the priority. So I think the families are very thankful. They're especially thankful for the food service and the work that the food service and custodial staff have been doing on that. And we're ready to get back to school in August.
Do you think that's going to happen?
Come on now. We're holding out hope.
Think positively. Rich, I've got two follow-up questions. That's okay?
Let Laura go and then Mark.
So I just because we were talking about this before the meeting, I just want to say this during the meeting, not through the schools, but coincidentally, there are two. The state is putting 2 hotspots down in. Well, they're putting one Microsoft hotspot in Wardsboro. And I was checking in with Tammy if there had been any communication with her. I believe it's going to be at the town hall library spot. And we were just touching base on whether or not she knew about it and whether or not she might want to have some input on it. And we had talked about, I believe the arrangements were made with the select board. So I think that's, but I just wanted to say that during the meeting. I don't know if Tammy had anything else to say on that. And
No,
I
I
had more to
just,
say on activity, but
Laura, I just wanted to clarify. Did you mean town hall? Because you said library.
I said library town hall area. I'm not sure where. I haven't talked to Peter since I first, I got the news and I sent him, the chair of the select board, I sent he and it was Reedsboro. I sent both of them an email and said, did you guys know about this? I didn't know about this. They did. So I believe they said town hall library area. Maybe they were trying to figure out what it was. So, but if you
Because the
feel
one
like
at
it would be,
the library already exists. We already have an existing one at the library currently. So if they're adding one, I would think it would be in a different location. But I'll talk to Peter and get the details.
that's exactly why I wanted to make sure we brought it up.
Perfect.
You had that info.
Mark, you're next.
So Matt, 2 questions. One for both Tammy and Matt. Do you have a count of the number of students that do not have internet at their homes at this point? Matt, you shaking your head?
Yeah, we have a count and we're following up with those families directly. And in fact, we've been working a little bit with Laura on gathering some data around the district. And so the answer is yes, we have counts for that and we're working with them individually. It's below 5 in Dover.
Okay.
So I feel a little bit luckier. We're actually, all of our families have internet service. It's just how reliable it is really the bigger issue here in Wardsboro. It seems like it sort of fades in and out depending on the day or the usage. I'm not really certain. Yes, so everybody fortunately has it. It's just whether or not it's working reliably. That's the bigger issue here.
Okay. And Matt, can you talk a little bit about how IB has translated to the online teaching world?
Yeah, it hasn't actually changed that much. The IB structure fits nicely into remote learning. The ability to be project based also fits nicely into remote learning. We've had to reduce the scope of work that we can do based on what the agency recommended for time of day and for what we've heard back in response from families in terms of the amount of workload. But nothing has really changed. It's, we continue to focus on basic skills and teachers continue to work IB units into their regular classroom meetings and regular classwork. It's just at a reduced rate based on the amount of time per day that we're able to provide instruction.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Richard, you, if I might, I don't know if this is the place, but I do have a little bit more to offer on connectivity and broadband. I don't know if you want to do it here or elsewhere.
Why don't we let Bill make any comment if he wants, and you can follow up.
Yeah, I don't really have anything specific other than I would just tell you that Matt and Tammy have been phenomenal leaders during this extraordinary time, and their calm demeanor tonight is exactly what their colleagues are seeing on a daily basis, and that provides an enormous amount of consistency and stability. that is really important. And so I would just give a big shout out to both of them for their leadership during this period.
Now, how come Tammy disappeared on us?
I think she just turned her video off.
Okay.
Yeah, I was having a poor
Thank you,
connection, so I
Bill.
just turned the camera off. I'm still here.
I think it's
Okay.
family movie night in Mooresboro.
Matt, you got anything else?
If I could, I just would add that on this issue of connectivity, Bill's office has taken on this project to try to identify families in the district. And it really has turned out to be a big project, but the staff at the central office have really done a fantastic job identifying and mapping out those households, including staff, and really allowed us to actually, they've made all the individual calls, but it's really allowed us to dig in and see really which specific families are struggling to access. We got information about the ability for them to access at all versus, poorly. So we can distinguish those things. So I just like to thank Bill and the central office for the work they did on that project.
Okay.
Rich, can I ask a follow-up? It's Dwight.
Dwight?
Can I ask?
Go ahead.
Just a follow-up on, that you guys seem to be doing an amazing job, and thank you for everything. My only question was, based on the connectivity and some of the other issues, is there any absenteeism? Are you finding some kids just aren't at all of the, school classes they need to be at? And are we doing anything to try to catch those kids? And also, are we keeping track of those who aren't attending?
You want to go first, Tam?
Sure. I would say that overall our participation rates are extremely high. On a daily basis, I would say all of our teachers are connecting with most of our students. If not, they definitely reach out to them, whether it's via a phone call or email. And I think parents are being extremely proactive. If their child isn't going to participate, we get a phone call or an email saying, hey, listen, we're not going to be able to make it today. So overall, our communication has been really fantastic, and participation, I would say, we have maybe one or two students, maybe once or twice a week, not, connecting with their classroom teacher. So overall, we're, I would say I'm really thrilled with the amount of participation that is happening at our school.
Just in terms of Dover, it's similar. We do have, Dwight, we do have some students who are not accessing because they don't have access. So they're finding creative ways. Teachers are accessing kids by phone or by FaceTime, or parents are taking kids to work. They're driving up and sitting in front of the school and using Wi-Fi. So there have been a lot of solutions to having the convenience of having the internet connectivity at home. But I feel confident that we're reaching all the families. It's not necessarily a one and done, like you reach them and it's over. I mean, this is something that we have to continue to support, and we continue to support daily. I don't know about Tammy, but we're constantly working with families to access the Google Classroom and send out their kids' credentials, and they're finding the phone app and getting that set up. And so there's a huge broad range of ways families are accessing, but some are getting printed out materials that they're picking up still because they don't have the ability to access the materials online. But those are down to one handful, literally less than 5. So that's going pretty well, I think.
Thank you. You guys are doing a tremendous job. I'm only hearing positive things, and just really, really, just a tremendous job. Thank you so much for all you're doing, and all the teachers.
Tammy, did you want to add something to that, or you came back online? Mark, you had a question?
Yeah, I just want, sorry, turn that off. How are the teachers holding up now that we're, 5-6 weeks into this? And the staff, I'm just curious how they are doing personally. I stand corrected.
You want to go, Tam?
What was that, Kate?
We've completed 5 weeks. So we're going to start week 6 when we come back from vacation.
How many weeks is a semester?
18.
So you'll have a third of your semester will have been this way.
The teachers in Dover are, I think, again, I mentioned out of the gate, they were running hard and they were tired and families were tired. There was too much work. I think they're finding a balance now after this period of time, and they're occasionally stopping into school to get materials. So I'm able to kind of check in with them. Everybody seems good. They seem strong. They're ready for this break. So I'm hoping everybody's taking this break and getting away from their computers and taking walks. But I think they're finding the balance with their family and creating boundaries with their students so that they're not Zooming on Easter Sunday, for example. But I think generally they feel pretty strong. They really miss the kids a lot. That I hear that over and over again. They miss the personal contact. They miss the face-to-face, and they're really just looking forward to getting back to normal so they can see kids and get them back in school.
Yeah, I would say at Wardsboro, it's very similar to the things that Matt spoke about. I mean, all the teachers are saying they would much rather fulfill their contract in the way it was meant to be fulfilled, which is, on a day-to-day basis, teaching the kids in their classrooms. Yeah. So other than that, I think they're holding it really pretty well. There's a little bit of anxiety about, what it will be like coming back after a little break. And then we've got about 8 weeks left of school after that. So we're trying to think of ways to make learning fun and engaging and exciting from now to the end of the school year.
Go ahead, Matt.
Just one more thing to add, following up on Laura's comment earlier in the meeting about how you all are getting more technologically advanced. That is also something I hear a lot from teachers, is just the amazing amount of learning that they've been forced into in the last 5 weeks with all the online learning how to run a meeting, learning how to keep kids engaged. Some of those things continue to be, things that we're working on, but it has been true for teachers that they have learned a tremendous amount these last few weeks and are growing under these circumstances, which is pretty remarkable, I think.
Well, thank you to you and your staffs and all the great work that you've been doing.
You're welcome.
Laura, you wanted to follow up on something about technology or Wi-Fi or interconnectivity?
Yeah, I just also wanted to thank Matt for highlighting originally an issue that was going on with one of our providers, Bill for gathering all of that data. With my legislative hat on, I asked Bill and the superintendent in the other district I represent for that information. It's been a pretty high priority in my legislative committee for my chair. Like his number one thing that he cares about doing right now is making sure that kids are connected. I don't know that we're doing so well in that department, but we are working really hard. Immediate solutions in this type of a situation are almost always going to be wireless, I think, and we're seeing some wireless go into some additional wireless go into Wardsboro maybe, but that's not like having it at your home. So people are really trying to think about how to get these kids more connectivity. It definitely illustrates even more, the inequities that we see for our kids all across the state, and our staff and our board right now, so luckily we're all able to be on. So I also want to thank you guys for gathering that information. I think it will be helpful eventually. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt, you good or? Okay. So the only other thing, I was talking to Laura earlier today about something else and mentioned, I don't know if you folks saw on Fox 25 News, they're using school buses to make Wi-Fi hotspots. And the school bus pulls into a big parking lot, and they have a big piece of paper on the side of it with the connecting code and stuff. And people that have more technology than me can go in there and you can go and hook up. So I didn't know if that may be something to do with their school buses, make them hotspots and move them around the town. And I'm not sure what is required to do that or what you need, but we have a couple school buses that are delivering meals, I guess, maybe, but it was just an idea. Kate, watch out behind you. In case it was a murderer. Are we good with the principals? Go ahead, Mark.
I don't know if this is for Bill, Lori, or the principals, but I'm just curious where our budget stands in relation to where you expected us to be at this time of the year.
So that would be me, right?
Probably.
So yeah, I just looked at it the other day, and I think I had given you a basically an up-to-date last board meeting, maybe last month. And I'm not seeing, there's no big savings, if that's what we're looking for. It certainly seems to be keeping track. I will say the revenues are probably going to be off even a little further. For instance, I just heard today that the Medicaid billing that happens is not, it's still happening with remote learning, but it won't be, you can't bill for a one-to-one when you're not actually having a one-to-one service. So there may be some reduction in some of the revenues on that. Food, we may have some increases in food costs there, but some decreases in some substitute costs. So those might balance each other out. So I would say, right where I thought we were going to come out for the end of the year is what it's looking like, within a 10 to 20% range.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Of the somewhere between 27 and 31, depending on the time of day that someone says it, money that's coming to the state for elementary schools, which I know is being distributed based on Title I. Any idea on how much we're looking at receiving?
So it's going to come to the SU, and it'll come down through probably the Title I, the grant funding. It's roughly about $281,000 for the SU.
Okay.
And then it will be distributed based on, we actually have a COVID-19 project code in all of the different databases right now. So any spending that's above and beyond what would have happened normally has been coded to that. So we're tracking expenses. For instance, when the SU was asked to create childcare for essential workers, we immediately coded all of those costs. It didn't last that long, but we coded all of those costs to the COVID-19 project code. So we're tracking expenses, and that will come out of there. The money, it will come down directly to the SUs. So it does not go to the Ed Fund. And so that is, it's another pot of revenue that will be looked at for grabbing back to go towards the Ed Fund. Trying to put it in simple terms of, I don't know if you remember, many of you were on the board, we had the healthcare recapture, where they, the estimated savings in healthcare due to the new healthcare plans, they reduced ed spending over a 2-year period by doing a healthcare recapture. And so I know that's been talked about. I don't know, and Laura could probably fill us in a little bit more about that, but I'm not sure where that stands right now. But we may see that 281,000 for the SU recaptured in a different way because this 31 million or 28 million dollars that you're talking about doesn't touch the ed fund, and they need it.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So, just something for everybody
May
to
I,
remember.
Richard?
This year's budget is pretty well set. Most of our income is in. We don't have a lot of income stuff coming in, except for grant money when we even up. I wouldn't be worried about this year at all. I noticed when I just signed pay warrants, there was, we seem to be in a good position. It's until the legislature decides what happens next year, that's going to be the big thing. And we could spend hours discussing it, but until the legislature actually makes some decisions, we're not going to know what's going to happen. And again, this year's are pretty much all set. Most of the money goes back and forth. We asked I think last time, Laura, you were at our meeting, we asked that we not spend any money, that we didn't need to spend, absolutely need to spend. Hopefully we're going to save a little bit of money on fuel, even though it's coming down, because the buses aren't going to be traveling. But the big thing is going to be paying attention. Once the legislature decides what they're going to do, then we need to be nimble enough to be looking at it and see how we adjust the budget that we've already passed. And that's going to be the important thing. I think more so than this year's it is what it is, and we're kind of stuck with it. Laura, do you know what they're doing?
No, no, I don't know what they're doing yet. I know that is definitely, that's been discussed in a number of meetings. And the other thing I was going to say is I was going to encourage all of us not to say they, but to say who we mean, not to say they, but to say who we mean. I'm feeling very sensitive about us and them stuff these days. So.
And I'm not saying it bad. I just, the legislature doesn't know. I mean, they have as much of an unknown as everybody else.
It was not. It was not an attack on you, my friend.
Oh no, I mean, sometimes I'll say the wrong thing. Like I didn't mean to. I'm not nervous yet. I'm nervous about next year, but I'm pretty comfortable about this year. Lori, is there any reason not to be comfortable?
No, I think that we'll finish out the year, like I said, somewhere in the vicinity of where I had thought originally. Unless they do something with this recapture for this year, and I don't know that will happen in time for this year. So,
and they would be the legislature, and specifically the Ways and Means Committee and the Education Committees making a recommendation. Oh, yes.
Okay. Is everybody okay? We beat that topic up enough. Mark, I think you brought that up. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I just to clarify, this isn't a worry. This is just trying to get the information.
Okay. Now the dog's attacking Kate. Okay, so then if we're doing principles, let's move to Bill and the superintendent's report, which was a lot of information. Go ahead, Bill.
I don't really have anything to add. I mean, I'll take some questions. I'll capture the superintendent's report and the COVID-19 report, just to let you guys know kind of the landscape. I meet twice a week with all the superintendents from Windsor and Wyndham to talk through every issue that we're all going through. We're sharing documents, we're sharing concepts, we're sharing strategic approaches, so that we're all trying to work lockstep together. We meet once a week with the Secretary of Education for an hour on Thursdays. He gives us a debrief of what's going on. We get guidance every single day in written form that we share with all the principals and the cabinet members, and then we take action based on whatever the guidance is. We meet once a week with our COVID-19 task force, which is our leadership team, plus the association, the nurses, the counselors, food service, just so everybody knows what everybody else is doing, so we can stay in touch with each other. And just trying to keep things as normal as possible and routine as possible during a very unroutine time.
Any questions for the superintendent's report? Okay, thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Laura,
Thank you, Bill.
Matt, one thing I missed during your presentation, I don't know how much you can say, but I don't know if everybody's aware of the situation you had up there with a staff member. Do you want to just, Mark, you have a comment?
I was waving at Dwight, who just showed back up.
Oh, Dwight's there. Hi, Dwight. Matt, can you give us a brief overview of what happened?
Sure. I think I sent out a release to each of the board members. We did have an employee have a medical emergency while preparing some meals on Wednesday of last week. And rescue was called. Deerfield Valley Rescue came to the scene. Dover PD, Eastover Fire was there, and the employee was transported to BMH and was released on Thursday and is home recovering. And the news is all good, and we are extremely happy about that. It was not related to her work in any way. It was not related to any of the work conditions. It was a personal medical emergency. And we're just really feeling fortunate that we were there to help her, and that she's recovering well and is ready to come back to work. Although I told her she has to wait 14 days because she's been in the hospital. So feeling very lucky.
Okay. Is there any questions for Matt? Okay, hearing none. Is there anything that I missed? Is there anything anybody wants to see on the next agenda? Mark, you had sent something that said go to meeting best practices. Did you send that to everybody, or was that just for me because I didn't know what I was doing?
No, I sent that to everybody. There's one small correction to that, which is the link on there to the meeting documents. I mistyped that. It's only HTTP there, and actually has to be HTTPS. Hey, Cabernet. Sorry, dog and cat are fighting. But no, that's it.
So just how do we do an executive session now?
We are going to kick everybody out who doesn't belong in the executive session, and then come back from it. And anybody who wants to come back in can, but won't be the easiest thing to communicate about.
Okay.
So Mark, is there a waiting room?
There is. If people want to dial right back in after I kick them out, they can wait in the waiting room, and then when we come back from executive session, I'll let them in.
Do I need to wait to be sworn in to go to executive session? This is Kate.
You should be, but I think we can, and I don't see Bill anymore. Is Bill gone? No, Bill's there. Bill, we can invite who we want to bring into an executive session, correct? Okay, we can invite you in.
Okay.
Is there anything I'm missing? Because I think all I have is contractual issue. Yes, Peter.
How shall we know when to come back?
Well, I don't know if we're going to make any decisions, so I can just send you an email again, like last time. I have that technology.
Okay,
Okay, is everybody good then? Board members, just give a thumbs up if you're good. Okay, and I'm sorry, it looks like I'm looking off to the side, but I got a bigger screen in front of me and my computer's on the side. That's why I'm really not looking at you guys. So
it's your
why
good
don't we,
side.
pardon?
It's your good profile.
Better profile, thank you. Why don't we do an executive session for contractual issue? If somebody would make such a motion.
Rich, Bill just asked whether you want Tammy and Matt to attend.
No, as long as Bill attends, he can fill them in. We'll let them get off. Poor Matt is struggling down there in Guilford. Bye, Tammy. Bye, Matt.
Bye, guys. Thank you and have a great night.
You too.
Hi, guys.
Thank you.
Night.
Thank you.
Did we have a motion?
I don't know. I'm waiting for one.
I'll make a motion that we move into executive session for contractual issues.
Okay. We have a motion. Somebody second that, please. Rick?
A second.
Okay, so we got a motion in the second. We should note in the motion that we're going to invite Kate into the executive session.
Got it.
Okay.
Bye,
Is there any
everyone.
discussion?
Keep safe. Nice to see you all on video.
Bye, Carrie.
So let me just let people know that on the contractual issue, Rick and I will let the board know, and hopefully we'll have some more information at our next meeting. And then, is there anything else before we adjourn, Mark?
Yep. Bill, I was just wondering where we were on the status of the couple hiring positions that we had.
Sure. Matt has posted the positions. We've received over 10 applications, many of them local. So I would agree with the board's approach to contractual negotiations and investing in what you have invested in. I think that word gets around and people see stability and durability in what you guys provide in River Valleys.
Great. Good to hear.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, Bill, I don't know, do we need to meet the first Monday in May, or what do you folks think? Do we want to put it off to the middle of May, see what's going on more? Do we want to maybe just have a written report from the principal administrators and see what's happening? I'm not sure what the board's thoughts are. Laura, go ahead. Oh, Mark, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I think I'd like to meet. It's helpful for me to hear from Bill, Matt, and Tammy about what's going on. So that's my opinion.
Laura? You're good?
Nothing.
Oh, Dwight's muted.
What's that?
Dwight, are you up for meeting on May 4th?
Yeah, I'm available.
Rick, you
It is
good?
helpful. I mean, the meetings are, I mean, I'm not sure how much more we need to do, what other things we have to accomplish, but I agree the meetings are helpful, and, you know, I miss you guys.
Now it really looks like that tic-tac-toe game, you know? Rick, you all good?
Yes, that should be fine to meet. If we want to meet, that should be.
Kate, you're all good to meet?
I'm ready to go to meeting.
There you go.
Send me an email and just let me talk to Andy and see how you get sworn in. I think any notary can do it. You know any notaries over your way?
I think so. I think there's actually one up in my neighborhood. I'm up in the Sheldon Hills Mountain Farms neighborhood, so I think we've got one up here.
Okay, and if not, I could meet you over in Wardsboro, like post office there by the cemetery at the base of Sheldon Hill.
Yep.
So, and stay 6 feet apart. So let me check with Nikki and I'll let you know what we need to do for you.
Okay. Thank you.
So if we're all set, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Just so everyone knows, it will be the same link for all of our meetings, so that won't be changing.
Thank you for doing this, Mark, for us too. I really appreciate it. As you can
Yeah,
tell, if
thank
it
you,
was up to me, we wouldn't be doing it.
All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved. It's what is it? It's 7:37 p.m. We'll see you guys all on May 4th. Bill, and we'll get together the week before, and Bill's done.
Welcome on board, Kate.
Thank you.
Who is it?